dear EC, European Commission representatives, dear ESFRI representatives, stakeholder forum members and participants in general here in person in Tenerife, and also joining us through streaming. Welcome to this meeting. It is also my pleasure to welcome you to this auditorium of Tenerife, a work of the Valencian architect Calatrava, Santiago Calatrava, covering 23,000 square meters, combines the spectacular nature of a unique building that is enveloped in brilliant white of the trencadis techniques, that it is this way in which with irregular pieces of tile they cover, like in a puzzle, all the building. And it is surrounded by a large square and, of course, of the magnificent Atlantic Ocean. The building that regularly hosts the seasons of the Tenerife Philharmonic Orchestra and the operas of Tenerife is hosting today this second Stakeholder Forum meeting. I am happy to participate in this opening on behalf of the ESFRI delegation from Spain. And my role, I'm Immaculada Figueroa. I am the Deputy Director General of Internationalization of Science and Innovation in the Ministry of Science and Innovation of Spain. And my role here is just to guide you through this welcome ceremony. So, Immaculada, yes. So with this, I go directly to the introduction, to the presentation, and the first in participate is Raquel Lloti. Raquel Lloti is the Secretary General for Research in the Ministry of Science and Innovation, and she is going to address some welcome words to you. Raquel, the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, it's my pleasure to participate in this opening session of this second ESFRI Stakeholder Forum Meetup organized by ESFRI under the umbrella of the Spanish Presidency of the Council of the European Union in this wonderful building designed by Santiago Calatrava, as that Immaculada has just previously told us. And I can see that some of you attended Monday and Tuesday the conference on global dimension and sustainability of research infrastructure that we had, and I think that we had very fruitful discussions, and I would like to say that we are very happy that we were able to propose the declaration, the Tenerife Declaration, that has been endorsed by more than 14 countries, 15 countries so far, and growing. So thank you so much and for your support and for your collaboration. This event follows the first ESFRI Stakeholders Forum Meetup, which took place in September 2022 in Brussels, some months after the establishment of the platform, which was created with the aim of promoting an open dialogue among the different European research infrastructures as stakeholders to reinforce the positions of research infrastructures in the context of the renewed European research area. And this forum gives us the chance to raise awareness across the RI ecosystem, facilitate cooperation and mutual learning to improve and implement new R&I services. The Stakeholder Forum offers room also for discussion on how to improve the use of RIs by the different communities. Moreover, it responds to the collaborative spirit that unites us as Europeans, committed to advance in science, knowledge, and innovations through the development of research infrastructures. And during this second ESFRI Stakeholders meeting, you will have the opportunity to discuss on the developments of ESFRI around 3 key areas related to research infrastructures: funding, access, and interaction with industry and complementarities with technology infrastructures. It is a great opportunity to share thoughts, needs, and also new opportunities in future. The discussion will offer invaluable help for the preparation of the next Horizon Europe work program, as well as feeding the discussions around the next framework program. And to finalize, I would like to thank ESFRI for organizing the event, and also the local host, and also stress ESFRI for making it possible. And of course, thank you to all of you for attending this event, and tomorrow some of you will also attend the ESFRI Forum meeting to continue this fruitful discussion. I wish you a pleasant stay and also a safe trip back home. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raquel. The next, our next speaker is Jana Kolar, our ESFRI chair. Please.
Thank you, Immaculada. First of all, now it's time for me to thank the Spanish presidency. Thank you so much for giving ESFRI the opportunity to link also its stakeholder forum to your presidency conference, and during for the organization of your presidency event dedicated to research infrastructure. It's always so important when the presidency decides to highlight this area. And the declaration, congratulations already for the 15 signatures. It's an important step that will strengthen the sustainability and global approach of research infrastructures, which is really so much needed in these times. So my thanks goes to you. Thank you. Welcome to all the participants of this and ESFRI delegates and the European Commission for taking part, for attending to this second edition of our Stakeholder Forum. Now, during the white paper, during the previous ESFRI chair, Jan Hrušák, it was decided that there should be a Stakeholder Forum. Now, it has been established 2 years ago, which is a platform, and almost 300 participants have already registered to be stakeholders of the ESFRI Stakeholder Forum. A part of the stakeholder initiative is also the meeting, which is so far been last year and this year, dedicated to particular topics in research infrastructure policy relevant for our stakeholders, not just for research infrastructures, but for the broader community, as it was already presented. Now, ESFRI has a very ambitious work plan, which is this edition coming to an end at the end of this year. As a part of this work plan, we have already published a number of papers, including recommendations, which you may find on the dedicated Zenodo community and also on our website, on the ESFRI website. Among these papers, we have the one on impact assessment. On the there has been a lot of activities on ESFRI landmark monitoring, which the landmarks that have already been monitored very well know. And then again, we have a paper published on the energy and supply challenges, which includes recommendations to research infrastructures, but also the funders, policymakers, European Commission, and ESFRI. And the latest additions to the latest publications are on the topic of RI's cooperation with industry and synergies with the TIs, mainly on the first part. Now, on the ESFRI work plan, one of the significant activities is stakeholder cooperation. And this stakeholder cooperation has additional momentum during the last 2 years. And this is demonstrated by inviting stakeholders to take part in relevant parts of the ESFRI meeting, highlighting particular topics, such as, for example, energy challenges or some supply challenges and similar. There's also the involvement of stakeholders in the forum meetup, which we have today, and cooperation with specific communities, such as EOSC Task Force and cooperation with EIRG. Now, the cooperation with stakeholders is also implemented by involving them in relevant drafting groups, for example, on energy and supply challenges, which they also co-authored. Now, coming to this, the agenda of today, since the work plan of these 2 years is approaching its finalization, we want to highlight 3 particular topics which are high on the agenda at this point, and that's funding, access, and industry interactions. You will hear a lot about this during the dedicated panels. We'll have breakout groups to collect your opinions, which will then feed into the work of ESFRI, so that the final result would be as valuable to you as it will to ESFRI, as it will be to ESFRI. Now, there will be questions dedicated to the next work program of European Commission, the next framework program, and landscape analysis that are common to all the 3 panels that we will have. Thank you very much for attending, and I hope you will find this meeting very useful and enjoyable. Thank you.
And finally, I invite to the stage to Michael Arentoft. Michael is the head of unit of Open Science and Research Infrastructure in the Directorate General for Research and Innovation from the European Commission. Michael.
Thank you so much. Also, a very warm welcome from the side of the European Commission. As you know, from our point of view, stakeholder engagement is really important. It's one of the key points in developing the new European research area. It has always been a key point, of course, in determining the priorities in our framework program. So today is very timely for us to hear from you, the stakeholders, in particular for what should be the priorities in the last 3 years of Horizon Europe, but also already to start preparing for the next framework program, FP10. So we are very supportive of ESFRI's efforts behind having this now the second stakeholder forum. The 3 topics are very relevant. Jana went through a number of issues that are addressed by ESFRI, and I think the 3 topics on today's agenda are probably the top ones that give us substance in terms of setting our priorities both in policy terms and in program terms. Funding, obviously, is a key issue for sustainability, and this links back to the Spanish conference of Monday and Tuesday. Access, obviously, as well. We are looking into making this scheme more integrated, more sustainable also in the longer term. And the final topic as well, increasingly important for us, interaction with industry, be it in terms of co-creation of technology components, be it in terms of exploring applications of research infrastructure innovations outside scientific markets, be it in terms of access of SMEs to research infrastructure facilities. Of course, the 3 topics are interconnected also. Funding models for access, access policies for industry. So we're really looking forward to having a focus on these 3 topics, but also to see how they interlink, and most importantly, what are the messages from you in terms of priority setting in policy terms or in program terms. 2 points about why this is very timely. So we are now in the phase of developing what we call the Horizon Europe strategic plan for 25 to 27, and the timing is that we will issue this in the first quarter of next year. So this is for the overall program and for all domains addressed by the current work program. This should be the basis for developing work programs for the last 3 years, and the current plan is that it will be split in 2. We will have a work program for 25 and another work program covering 26-27. The one for 25 will come out a bit later than you are used to. Normally it comes out at the end of the previous year. Now, because there will be a change in the Commission in November next year, it will come out in the beginning of 25. The one for 26-27 will come out as you are used to, so at the end of 25. This means that from now until the first quarter of next year, we will also be looking more particularly at the orientations for research infrastructure priority setting. What should be the challenges addressed? What should be the objectives of the calls? What should be the impacts that we are targeting? And then during the late spring, until the end of the year, we will be drafting in close consultation, of course, with the member states and with you, also stakeholders being consulted on the precise topics and priorities in the work program for 25. As I said, also the discussions on the next framework program are starting slowly. You could expect that the proposal from the Commission will come out mid or autumn 25, because it takes some time for negotiating something that needs to be ready by the end of 27, expecting a start of the FP10 in 28. So we are very much looking forward to a very active engagement today from all of you to hear what are the challenges that you see, what are the opportunities that you see, both in terms of infrastructure policy, but also in terms of the funding, particularly from the side of the European Commission. We will be listening very carefully also to what kind of actions you would see in the last half of Horizon Europe, the actions also that could be anticipated for FP10, what are the targets that we should be looking at, what are the scope also of research infrastructures. All the way down to the funding needs. What is the order of magnitude that is needed in order for an action on our part to make a difference, to make a real difference. And I would say down to the nitty-gritty mechanisms that are needed, because it's very important also to have efficient mechanisms behind the actions. So with this, I wish all of us very constructive dialogues today, very constructive discussions where we can all take home messages for setting priorities. Thank you very much.
With this, we conclude this opening session, and thank you all the distinguished speakers for your talk, for your words, and we go directly to the next session on funding. Thank you.
So, let's go. So, yeah, probably you can sit down, and I will very briefly introduce the session. First of all, I would like to thank ESFRI for this Stakeholders Forum initiative. Well, during the Spanish presidency conference, I was representing the synchrotrons and free electron lasers. Here I'm, in fact, representing a larger set of infrastructures, namely ARIE, which stands for Analytical Research Infrastructures in Europe, which gathers networks of synchrotrons, neutrons, electron microscopes, lasers, and so on. And this stakeholder forum is really something we needed to have a better dialogue with ESFRI and with all the stakeholders. So thanks a lot to ESFRI for having this initiative. Now, funding is a subject we started to discuss earlier this week. And so what we know and discussed is that altogether our research infrastructures represent billions, not to say tens of billions of investments, mainly by member states, but also regional funds, and quite often the contribution of European Union is the catalyzer which is needed to make things work, and I mean to really catalyze the alchemy, which means that we make gold with our infrastructures. And among the different issues that were discussed and that we will probably also discuss this morning is how to most efficiently combine those different sources of funding to achieve what we need to achieve, taking in particular into account that we don't talk only on building infrastructures, but also upgrading infrastructures and running infrastructures in a sustainable way. And this is really the challenge we are facing and we will be discussing. So for this, we have three members on this panel. We have Elena Offert. So Elena is working with the French Ministry of Higher Education and Science, but she's here, in fact, in her capacity as ESFRI board member, and she will tell us about all the very deep survey and work which has been conducted by ESFRI on funding. You were coordinating this group, and you will tell us what you found and where you are from the ESFRI perspective. Roberto is working with the Italian Ministry of Science, and he will tell us, what the challenges are from a national member state perspective. And Jaroslav is working with the European Investment Bank and will tell us what are the tools and services that the EIB can provide for research infrastructures. So the session is organized as follows. Each of you will have 5 minutes to introduce the discussion. Then we will have the breakout sessions. So for, I don't know exactly how long, as we are probably running a little bit late. And then we will have a final part of the session where we will hopefully have some time to discuss the main messages from the different breakout sessions. So please, Elena, I don't know whether you want to come here or you prefer to, it's up to you. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody, and I'm very happy to present the work of ESFRI Working Group on funding of research infrastructures in this forum, because I think it's a very relevant place for all of us.
This is next slide.
Well, it can be also projected later because it's actually the final recommendations. I have a couple of words to introduce the idea. Well, I would say it's a very relevant forum for all of us because I think we need this dialogue with you. We are working in our group on detecting best practices in funding of research infrastructures, and we are supposed to write some recommendations in the end of this work. So why? I can explain. Now, we all know that the roadmap 2021 of ESFRI contains 63 European research infrastructures. Some of them are already settled, some of them are still in project, and it represents 24 billion euros of cumulative investments. So we see that the sum is already very impressive of investments, and also you can imagine the operation cost, which is about 10% of this investments costs. So we need a common approach. We need a joint effort to support all these wonderful European endeavors and to sustain them, to make them competitive, to make them be able to respond to the current challenges, and to be state-to-the-art every time, because we need to be competitive also at the international level. So the work which we are doing was actually impulsed by the Council conclusions, Competitive Council conclusions of the 2nd of December 2022, which invited us to do this job and to make recommendations to all the European community. But the job is not new. It was started already several years ago by ESFRI with the scripta on sustainability on research infrastructures, and then it was taken up by the European Commission in a number of documents. So this is something which was already maturing for several years. Now we are here, we settled up the group, we started the work. And now we understand that the work is really very, very ambitious. We wanted to attract to this work and to imply to this work all the actors, so we contacted research infrastructures, we also contacted governments. So we wanted to have the vision of the both sides, of the funders and also from the actors of this landscape. And we saw that it was a big challenge, because actually we are all very, very different. We have different approaches, we have different definitions, we have different accounting systems. We speak more or less about the same things, but if you want to compare the things, it's a challenge, because we have to compare the comparable things. So we organized a couple of workshops. We did individual interviews with research infrastructures. I think the work will not stop here, not stop in the end of 2023, because we are really discovering only the upper part of the iceberg now. But still, we have to do some concrete conclusions and recommendations in the end of the year. And I think that we will need to go on with